Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about different types of Windows function, which involves lead function, lag function, row number, rank, and dense rank function. But before diving deep into these concepts, I will highly recommend you all to please watch part 1 of this Windows function series, where I have covered what are Windows functions in details. There I have discussed about sum over clause, using partition by within sum over clause, what are frames and how they are different from partition by, and what are terms like unbounded preceding and unbounded following. So do check out this video. I will be putting a link to that video in description box, and let's get started. So here we are using same database, that is SQL_questions. In this database हमने एक टेबल क्रिएट की है EMP, विच इज़ माई एम्प्लॉय टेबल, और उसमें ये कॉलम्स हैं एम्प्लॉय नंबर, एम्प्लॉय नेम, जॉब, हायर डेट, सैलरी, बोनस एंड डिपार्टमेंट नंबर. And we have inserted these values within this table. Let's run this table to see what values are present in it. So we can see that in employee number, different employee numbers are present, and each employee number corresponds to one employee. And then in job, we are telling that this David is an HR, Thomas is data scientist, and when they were hired. So hire date is having that information. Then in salary column, we have placed its salary, and then in bonus, we have mentioned the bonus that employee has received depending on the work they have done. And in department number, we have mentioned different departments to which each employee belongs to. Now let's discuss about our different types of Windows function. So first one is lag function. So lag function is used to get value from row that precedes the current row. And lag function का syntax ये हमारा, जिसमें lag keyword में हम 3 parameters pass कर रहे हैं. First one is expression, second one is n, that is the offset, and third parameter is default. और हम ये lag keyword use कर रहे हैं with over clause, and within this over clause we are passing 2 arguments and both the arguments are optional. First one is for window specification and second one is for window name. So within this lag keyword, this n and default, which is my offset or default, these arguments are optional, but this expr, that is my expression, is needed, so we cannot leave it empty. So this is the definition of my different parameters which we use in lag over clause. But before going through this definition, let's first use lag function, and then we will come to these definitions so that we can understand them more clearly. So let's understand lag function with a simple query. So I'm going to use 2 columns, which is the hire date of my employee and the salary of a particular employee. And on this salary column, I'm going to apply my lag function. So I have written lag keyword over here, and you can see that this lag function is showing some error. This is because I have not inserted any value over here, and it is mandatory to have at least one value in the expression. So these 2 values, that is n and default, they are optional, but we have to put some expression over here, and in this case expression is my salary column because I'm applying my lag function on salary column. And then I'm going to use my over clause. Within this over clause, either I can leave it empty or I can order it by hire date, and this I'm applying this lag function on EMP table. So let's run this query and see what lag function does to salary. So we can see that this 950, which was the salary of my first employee, it has moved to one position. that is, it has moved one position down, and the value corresponding to this 950 is null. Similarly, this 3000 has moved one down row, and so on. And जो first row थी उसके place पर एक null आ गया है. Okay, so this is how lag function works. Now let's understand the meaning of these two terms, which is offset n and the default. By default, the value of offset is 1. So if I put value 1 over here, it will give me same result. So you can see that we are getting the same results. But if I put the value of offset as 2, then we can see that the salary values have moved 2 rows down. तो जो 950 हमारी फर्स्ट रो पे था अब वो थर्ड रो पे आ गया है. सिमिलरली 3000 हैज मूव डाउन बाय 2 रोज और ये फोर्थ रो पे आ गया है एंड उनके कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग नल्स प्रोड्यूस हो गए हैं. एंड इफ वी मूव डाउन टुवर्ड्स द टेबल वी कैन सी दैट दिस 5000 हैज कम टू द बॉटम और जो ये हमारी वैल्यू थी 3000 एंड 1100 दे आर नॉट प्रेजेंट इन द लैग कॉलम. ओके, so this is how offset, which is my n parameter, works. Now let's see what is the meaning of this third parameter, that is default. So if I put default value as 0, let's see what will happen. So I'm running this query. तो हम देख सकते हैं जहां null था वो 0 से रिप्लेस हो गया है. So it means that the default value was null. That's why null was being placed. And अगर उसकी जगह हम 0 place कर देते हैं तो null is replaced by 0. Similarly, if I place 100 over here, so this is being replaced by 100. So in majority cases we leave it with null default value, and offset is always set to 1 depending on the use case we are dealing with. So this is how lag function works. Now we can discuss about these parameters. So EXPR, as we have seen, that it can be a column or any inbuilt function, which we have seen over here. So this is my salary expression. It was a column name, that's why we have placed over here. Then we have offset, which I have already discussed right now, which is a positive value, which is this 1. And then the default value was null. So it basically helps to replace the values. And then we have over clause. This we have already discussed in detail in previous video, and it is basically defining how rows are partitioned into groups. If over is empty, then function compute results using all rows. Then comes window specification. It consists of query partition clause, which defines how the queries are partitioned and ordered. Whereas window name is, if window is specified elsewhere in the query, then it is referenced using this window name. So this is how lag function works. Similarly, we can also create same query for a lead function. So I'm using the same query, and in place of lag function I'm just going to use a keyword called lead. And if I run this query, we can see that this time the value which was present at the second row has moved towards the first row. Similarly, my value 800 has moved towards the second row, and 1300, which was my third row's value, has moved one position above, which is at the third row. So this is what lead function does. And one more important point to note over here is that जो हमारे पास 950 था, it is not present anywhere in the table. And if we move down towards this table, we can see that अभी जो 1100 था, it has moved one position above, and in place of that 1100, null has appeared. So basically lead function works opposite to lag function, and it has same parameters just like lag function. तो इसमें हमने सैलरी कॉलम का एक्सप्रेशन पास किया हुआ है, ऑफसेट इज 1. इफ आई पास ऑफसेट एज 2, then we can see that the third row 800 value has moved towards first row. जो पहली दो rows की value थी 950 and 3000, it is not present in the table. And this 3000 value has again moved 2 rows above in new column, and 1100 has moved 2 rows above. And in place of these two 3000 and 1100, nulls are placed. And if we want to remove this null value, we can put the default value as 0, and when we run it, you can see that nulls are replaced by 0. So a quick comparison of lag function and lead function can be understood more clearly from here. So here lag function, we can see that this is my table. So 950 moved one position down, 3000 moved one position down, 800 has moved one position down, and this happens with entire table. And the first row is having null value because above 950 there was no value, hence it has placed default value as null. And the last value was 1100, so it is not present in the table, it is removed. Similarly with lead function, 950 cannot be seen in the table, but the second row value, which is 3000, it is moved by one position, 800 is moved by one position, similarly 1300 is moved by one position, and so on. 950 is not present in table, and this 1100 is moved by one position, and corresponding to that same row a null is placed. So in lag function we can see that 950 was moving down and null was being placed, but in lead function values are moving by one row up depending on the offset we have provided in our query. Now let's move to our next function, which is row number. Row number is basically generated once for each row, so there are no duplicates or gaps. And this is the syntax of row number. We can see that in row number we have not passed any expression, offset or anything, so this row number is left empty. In order to understand row number more effectively, I am going to use my same query which I have used earlier, which is this one. So let's place this same query over here, and now in place of lead function I'm just going to use keyword row number. And since according to syntax we don't have to pass any expression, so I'm leaving it empty. और जब हम इसको अब रन करेंगे, so we can see that for each corresponding row I'm getting a unique number. For this row I'm getting row number as 1, for the next row I'm getting the row number as 2, and if I move across entire table we can see that for all rows a unique number is provided with no duplicates. Now let's introduce another column over here, which is department number. Why I'm introducing department number is in order to understand row number more clearly, because now I'm going to introduce another clause, that is partition by. So if I partition my table with respect to its department number, let's see how row number behaves. So we can see that for each partition, that is partition was done on department number. So this is my partition of department number 10, and these are 3 rows corresponding to it. So for this partition row number becomes 1, 2 and 3, and for the next partition, which is for my department number 20, we have 4 rows and row number changes for this partition, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So row number is no longer continuous, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rather it has changed to 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the partition department number 20. And same happens with next department, which is department number 30. So here we have 6 rows. So for this partition row number has become from 1, row number is from 1 to 6. So this is how row number works when we use partition by clause or without partition by clause. Now let's move to next function, which is rank function. In rank function, numbers are skipped, so there may be gap in rankings and may not be unique. And this is the syntax of rank function. It is pretty much similar to row number, where we have not used any expression, it is left empty, and overclause is having partition definition and order definition. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use same query which I've used before. If I will first remove partition by clause in order to understand simple meaning of rank function, and I'm going to remove this keyword with rank. Let's run this query. So when I'm placing rank function in my query, this is the result I'm getting. So जो सैलरी हमारी 950 है, उसमें रैंक फंक्शन ने रैंक दी वैल्यू 1, और जो हमारी सेकंड थी सैलरी 3000, उसमें भी रैंक दी है 1. एंड रीजन बीइंग, क्योंकि हम ऑर्डरिंग कर रहे हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू हायर डेट, और जो हमारी हायर डेट है वो सेम है, दैट इज 3 दिसंबर 2020, तो इसलिए उसकी रैंक कर दी सेम 1. और जैसे जैसे हमारी हायर डेट अगर चेंज हो रही है तो उसकी रैंक फिर चेंज कर दी गई 3. अब हम देख सकते हैं कि 1 यूज करने के बाद डायरेक्टली 3 यूज हुआ है, इसमें 2 यूज नहीं हुआ. तो दैट्स व्हाई द डेफिनेशन ऑफ रैंक फंक्शन सेज दैट नंबर्स आर स्किप्ड. अगर इधर 3 रोज होती विद सेम हायर डेट तो उसकी तीनों रोज की रैंक होती 1, और हम जो नेक्स्ट रो आती है उसमें प्लेस कर देते 4, क्योंकि वो 3 रोज को ही 1 2 3 काउंट कर रहा है इंटरनली और नेक्स्ट रो को वैल्यू देता है. और अब क्योंकि यहाँ पर 2 रोज है तो इसलिए उसने उन दोनों को रैंक 1 1 दे दी, और जो नेक्स्ट रो थी उसको डायरेक्ट वैल्यू दी है 3, बिकॉज वो इंटरनली मान रहा है कि ये 1 और 2 है. Similarly, if we see for the next rows, all rows are having unique values because their higher dates are different. They are not duplicate. So we can see there are gap in rankings and they are not unique because we are getting duplicates in case of rank function. Now coming to our next function, which is dense rank function. In dense rank function, numbers are not skipped, so there will be no gap in rankings and they may not be unique as well. So this is the syntax of dense rank function. Here also you can see that we have not included any expression. So I'm going to use my previous query and I'm going to place over here, and in place of rank function I'm just going to add a keyword of dense. So this is my dense rank function, and if I run this query now, you can see that for the first 2 rows which is having same hire date, we are again getting same numbers. So this point is valid, which means that even dense rank function is not providing me unique numbers. But if I move to next hire date, which is different, that is 17th December, and it is different from 3rd of December, that's why a new number 2 is placed. We have seen that in case of rank function a 3 was being placed, but in case of dense rank function 2 is being placed, which shows that numbers are not being skipped. If 1 is being placed over here, then we are getting 2 over here directly. 2 is not being omitted. Now we have seen rank function and dense rank function where we have ordered them with respect to hire date. Now let's order them with respect to their department number to get even better picture. So if I am ordering this with respect to their department numbers, since these departments are same, so that's why rank 1 is placed over here, and there were 3 rows present in them. That's why internally it will count it as 1 2 3, but it is shown as 1 1 1, and since there are 3 rows, so the next number is 4, hence 4 is placed to the next row, and which is corresponding to different department number, that is department number 20. So you can see for this entire department 20, same rank of 4 4 4 and 4 is placed, and since there are 5 rows within them, so if I add 5 to 4, it becomes 9. Hence in next row 9 is placed for the department number 30. And since there are 6 numbers corresponding to department 30, hence 9 is placed 6 times. So we can clearly see that there are gap in rankings and they are not unique. And if I apply dance rank function by ordering it with respect to department number in place of HIREDATE, so I will be getting similar results as well. So you can see that we are getting dance rank as 1 for department number 10. And if I see that for next department, which is 20, numbers are not getting skipped, so after 1 we are directly getting 2. In case of rank function we were getting 4, but here we are getting 2. And this happens across same department. Value 2 is placed over here, and for next department 30, value 3 is placed over here. Let's compare row number, rank and dance rank function in order to understand them more effectively. So here we can see that in case of row number, we are getting unique values, that is one value is assigned to each row, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. But in case of rank function, we are getting individual values, that is for department number 10, I'm getting same rank, and then moving towards next department, that is 20, I'm getting same value of 4. Here. So you can see that numbers 2 and 3 were skipped because of these 3 rows and 4 is being placed, and same happens with department number 30. But in case of dance rank function, if I am having same department number, I'm getting same ranks, but as we move towards next department, that is 20, we are getting next number of 1, that is 2, without getting any number skipped in between. So this was all about different Windows functions in SQL. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next video.